Hi, I'm Josh, and this week I'm going to be reviewing the final three albums that I got in 2019. The reason why I'm doing these all in one go, in one big video, is because after this year, the 2019 albums are going to be a bit irrelevant. It's going to be a bit weird doing album reviews of albums that were 2 years old, 3 years old. So, maybe in the future we can do retro reviews if you want me to do more retro reviews of albums that are 3 years or older. But anyway, let's get into these. Let's begin with Mark Morton's Anesthetic, his debut solo album, the guitarist from Lamb of God, if you don't know. I thought this was a pretty decent album. I mean, it's kind of so-so. Some of it's really good and some of it's sort of average, really. Sort of average Kerrang radio rock sort of stuff. But there is sort of heavy metal stuff in there as well. It's sort of a blend of the two. Some of it's rock, some of it's metal. Sort of half and half. I think, well, Mark Morton wrote pretty much the whole of it and, played guitar on it all. And it's really, really good album. He's done really good stuff on it. And if you're expecting it to sound like Lamb of God, it doesn't. There are some riffs here and there that are very sort of Lamb of God like, but quite a lot of the songs are, like I just said, they're very rock orientated or, sort of heavy metal-y kind of vibe. But it features quite a lot of famous vocalists. He gets a different vocalist on every single song. People such as the late Chester Bennington. They recorded that song before he passed away, so yeah. Chester Bennington, Chuck Billy as well from Testament, Randy Bly from Lamb of God, which is really cool. Alyssa Whiteglass from Arch Enemy, Miles Kennedy, Jacoby Shaddix. I can't remember what band he's from. I'll probably put it there in editing. Dave Ellison on the bass from Megadeth on a couple of songs, and Paolo and Alex Bent from Trivium as well. Paolo plays bass on one or two songs, Alex plays drums on a couple of songs, and loads of other people. Mike Morales as well, and quite a few other sort of session players of famous bass players and drummers and other vocalists here and there. My top three songs are Cross Off, The Never, and The Truth Is Dead. Cross Off is the opening track, and it's got Chester Bennington on it, and it is a really, really cool sort of metal track. Really, really like that song. The Never features Chuck Billy, and that is a really, really cool sort of proper old school metal song. And he does a pretty cool solo on that song. And The Truth Is Dead features Randy Bly and Alyssa Whiteglass, ends the album. Really, really good song. I love their dynamics in the choruses. Sort of his lower singing and her high pitch sort of singing, really cool dynamic. Yeah, he done really well to put them two together. It worked really well. My bottom three songs are Imaginary Days, Reveal, and Save Defiance. I'm just not a fan of Imaginary Days or Reveal. For me, they're the two weak songs on the album. They don't really do a lot for me. And Save Defiance, it's an okay song. It's a typical sort of Kerrang radio rock song, really. And I'm not a big fan of the vocals, I'm afraid. Sorry. The rest of the album, Axis, is a pretty cool song. Another sort of radio rock kind of song, but it's still a good song. Blur, that was a really good track. Pretty cool song, that one. Back from the Dead, some really good, does a pretty decent solo in that song. It's pretty cool track. And Sworn Apart was really close to being in the top three. That's a really good song. I really like that one. Really cool. overall, I'd give this album a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent. There's some good stuff on it. There's some average stuff on it. But overall, yeah. Well done, Mark. Next album is Humanicide by Death Angel. I got recommended this by one of my mates. Cheers, James. This is a brilliant album. Absolutely excellent. One thing I would say is that the last couple of tracks kind of lets it down a little bit because they're not as good as the other tracks on the album. But yeah, Mark's vocals are absolutely amazing. I mean, they open with Humanicide, and that scream he does at the start of the song just sets the tone. Absolutely wicked, wicked, wicked. His vocals were brilliant, and when we went to see him live, his vocals were just as good, if not better. Rob's guitar playing was really good as well. Done some pretty cool solos and wrote some really good riffs, as well as Ted got some good riffs going on there. Damien is just a mad bass player. Some of the bass licks that guy does just absolutely beyond belief. And good, decent drumming from the drummer Will. Pretty good drumming. Yeah. So, yeah. My top 3 would be Humanicide, Aggressor, and Alive and Screaming. But it was really difficult to pick a top 3 because there's about 6 or 7 that could easily have been in the top 3 for me, really. But yeah, Humanicide is the best song on the album by a country mile. It's absolutely brilliant from start to finish. Aggressor is a really cool song. It sort of starts acoustic-y and then it goes heavy and then it kind of goes acoustic-y again and then it goes heavy again. It's really, really cool song. Alive and Screaming is just a good old school thrash kind of sounding song, which is really cool. Love it. And the bottom 2, the only reason why there's 2 instead of 3 is because these 2 are songs that I'm not a big fan of. Revelation Song and of Rats and Men. Them 2 songs are at the end of the album and they're just not as good, really. I mean, I don't mind Revelation Song, but it's just, you know, it's just not as good as the rest of the album. Yeah, the rest, Define Defector, that's a pretty good song. I like that one. I Came for Blood, that reminds me of sort of Anthrax. It's a bit of an Anthraxy kind of sounding song, that one. Immortal Be Hated, that's a really good song. It's very different compared to the rest of the album, but it's still a really, really good song. The Pack, that's a really cool sort of thrashy kind of song. I like it. Ghost of Me, yeah, that's a good song. Pretty decent. And The Day I Walked Away, I actually quite like that song. Might be a bit underrated, but there's something about that song that I like for some weird reason. But yeah, overall this is a fantastic album. Brilliant recommendation, James. And I give it an 8 out of 10. It's really close to a 9. On another day, I probably would be a 9. Maybe without Of Rats and Men, it'd be a 9. And the last album today of my 2019 collection is Shaped by Fire by As I Dine. And it's a bit of a controversial one because, you know, of Tim Lembisis and his whole fiascos in the past. But, you know, they come back really, really strong with this album. It's a brilliant, brilliant album. I think out of all the albums that I listened to from 2019, it's got to be in the top 3 at least. I absolutely love this. It's absolutely brilliant. I thought Tim's vocals were pretty good. I mean, they weren't as I think his early vocals are better, but still pretty good. And Josh's vocals were alright. I think they spent quite a lot of time in the post-production room, but yeah, it's alright. Nick Hipper, his guitar solos are always wicked, and him and Phil wrote some real awesome riffs and some real cool breakdowns. But it's a shame that Nick left the band in August, so that's a shame. But whatever he goes to do will be really good because he's a bloody wicked guitar playing. And Jordan's drumming was absolutely unbelievable. Some of the bass kick drums and blast beats, absolutely awesome. Awesome. Right, the top three for me are Shaped by Fire, Gatekeeper and My Own Grave. Shaped by Fire is just a really cool, fun sort of track. Yeah, I like that song. It's just a real cool, fun groove to that song. Gatekeeper is one of my favourite songs on the album. Probably my favourite because it's just old school. They just let everything loose and just go hell for leather. And the solo is absolutely unbelievable. Mind-boggling guitar solo. And it's just heavy as hell. They just go absolutely for it and just write the heaviest song they could come up with, which is awesome. And My Own Grave is a pretty good song. I really like it. It's got a pretty cool guitar solo in it as well, and pretty cool chorus. But yeah, it was pretty hard again to make a top three because there's about 5 or 6 songs that could have been in the top 3. The only song that I wasn't really that fussed by was Take What's Left. It's just a song that hasn't really resonated with me as much as the others. But the others are absolutely brilliant. You know, well, Burn to Emerge isn't really a song, it's just an intro, but Blinded is a really cool song. Undertow is alright. I don't mind that one. It's probably my second least favourite on the album, really. Torn Between's a really cool song. There's some really good riffs in that song. The Wreckage, that's a really cool song. I really like that song. It's really grown on me as more I listen to it. Really awesome at the end where it fades out and that awesome riff. That would be wicked to see live. Then play that song. Redefined, that was one of the first songs I heard off this album back ages ago, featuring Jake Lurs from August Burns Red. That's a really good song, really cool breakdown. Yeah, wicked. Only After We've Fallen, that's a really cool song as well. And The Toll It Takes. Really strong end to the album, really. Them 3 songs at the end, they're all wicked. The Toll It Takes sort of is a bit sort of old school, As I Lay Dying, with the opening riff. Really cool. But yeah, overall I'd give this album a 9 out of 10. Almost perfect for me, almost. But yeah, absolutely wicked album. Right, so that has been this video. I want to know what you lot think of these albums that I've reviewed today, if you even listen to them. If you have, let me know let me know what you think of them. And what was your favourite albums from 2019? I know that definitely is up there for me. And also, you know, the other albums that I've reviewed previously, like Killswitch Engage and Slipknot, but also stuff like Korn, In Flames, Amon Amarth, Paul Gilbert released a solo album, Alec Aeon, you know, whatever, rock, metal, or whatever you're into. Let me know what was one of your favourite albums of the year. And yeah, any feedback on this video is much appreciated, because I always wanted to make my videos better. Sub if you're new, and share with anyone who you think would like my content that I make. And I'll see you in the next one. Keep it metal.